Hi guys, you are welcome back to my channel. So my name is Precious Great, and in this channel I talk about faith, beauty, lifestyle and education. If this is your first time seeing this pretty girl see this face, please do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so YouTube will notify you each time I make a new upload. You can as well go through my videos. I assure you that you see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or more than 5 videos that you're going to like or love. So please do well to go through my channel and check out my videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, come, I want to give you a very big hug. Come, I love you. Come on. So I love you. Thank you very much for always supporting me, and thank you for always coming by to watch my videos. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about skills that makes a successful social worker. So what I mean by skills that makes a successful social worker, I mean skills that you are going to have and they are going to be said to be a successful social worker. So these are the skills that every social worker that wants to be successful should have. These skills are very important, they are very vital to the social work profession. So if you want to be a successful social worker, you must have these skills. Okay, I hope you understand. So these skills makes a social worker to be a successful one. You can say that a professional is not successful, not just about social work. You can say that a professional is not successful, or this professional is successful. So these skills are the skills that are going to distinguish you, that are going to make you a successful social worker. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. Welcome back. So guys, I'm going to be listing the skills. I'm not going to go more into explanation, but these skills are skills that you can easily understand, right? So it's not too difficult for you to understand. I'm going to be listing some of these skills, and I have a book here. I wrote them down so I will not forget, because they are actually mean. If you see me looking down, just know that I'm looking at a book so that I will not forget anything. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much. So the skills that you need to have to be a successful social worker are, so number 1 is active listening skills. I tell people that there is a difference between hearing and listening. Now, there is a bigger difference between just listening and actively listening. As a social worker or a social worker that wants to be successful, you have to make sure that you have the skill of active listening. You have to listen actively without interrupting your client when you are trying to get information or when you are trying to work with them, right? So you must learn to listen attentively. You must learn to listen to understand what the person or the client is trying to tell you. So number 1 is active listening skill, and number 2 is writing skills. This writing skills has to do with being able to note important points that your client is talking about, not just your clients, people that you're working with is talking about, or your observation. Make sure to be able to write them down, to note them down, or to jot them down. That's another skill. The third skill is understanding people's self-interest. Understanding people's self-interest. As a social worker, make sure that you have the ability to understand the interest of people, to understand the interest of your client or people that you are working with. Number 4 is interpersonal skills. As a social worker, you must learn or have the skills to relate with other people or other persons. Make sure you have the ability to relate with another person, relate with a group, relate with groups, or relate with community or with clients. Just make sure that you build the skill of relating with others, interpersonal skills. Number 5 is empathic skill. You know, as a social worker, you meet with vulnerable people, you meet with people that have gone through abuse, you meet with a lot of clients. Now, empathic skills has to do with being able to, you know, we have sympathy and we have empathy. Sympathy is just pitying the person. Oh God, why is it that this happened to this person, and why you are just pitying the person. But empathic skill has to do with not just pitying the person, but going the extra mile of looking for a way to help the person out of that problem, looking for a way to help the person overcome that challenge, help the person to overcome that particular problem. So empathic skills has to do with putting yourself in the shoes of a client or someone else and looking for a way to make the person get out of that problem. Do you understand that? Okay. And the sixth one is learning to get the appropriate data from people you are working with. It has to do with active listening skill and writing skills. It has to do with active listening skills and writing skills, because you have to listen very well first, and then you'll be able to jot down the necessary points that the person made. Okay, so one thing is to listen, and the next one is being able to write the important information or the appropriate data that you got from people that you're working with. And number 7 is engagement skills. So this engagement skill has to do with being able to connect with who you are working with, to be able to connect with your client, to organization or group or community, being able to connect with them and make them speak out. Okay. Number 8 is assessment skill. Assessment skill has to do with weighing yourself or weighing your intervention process, or the ability to check to know if you are progressing with a particular case. So assessment has to do with yourself to know how good you have been or how bad you have been, or how good you have been with a particular case or how bad you have been, if you are progressing or not. So that's what assessment skill has to do with that. Number 9 is intervention skill. Intervention skill is just knowing when to show, when to act, when to intervene in a particular situation or case. So that's what intervention skill is all about. The 10th one is collaboration. Collaboration has to do with working with other people or with other professionals. Social work is a profession that in most cases the social workers or the social work professionals have to work with other professionals in order to resolve a particular case. Now what I mean is this: if you are a social worker, a medical social worker, most times you will have to work with a medical doctor in order to work on a particular case. There are times that social workers need to work with legal professionals like lawyers, barristers and all, right? So you have to know when it is time or the right time, and you have to have the ability to work with other professionals in order to resolve a particular case. Okay, so that's what collaboration is all about, or collaboration skill is all about. Now, number 11 is good listening skills. Good listening skill. You know, the number 1 skill that I talked about is active listening skill. Then this is also, it's just like almost the same thing. You have to be a good listener. You have to be a good listener. You don't have to interrupt, or you don't have to say what you think. A client is trying to tell you something or to explain a particular situation to you, and you're already trying to say something. No, you shouldn't do that. As a good social worker or someone that wants to be a successful social worker, you must have the ability to listen patiently. Like, you have to listen, pay full attention to what the client has to say. Then once the person is done talking, then you can speak your mind or say what you think. But you have to practice the skill of listening attentively. So that's what good listening skill is all about. Number 12 is patience. You have to be patient enough to listen to your clients, to see your clients grow, to see your clients get better, to see your clients adjust. As a social worker, you have to have this skill of being patient. You have to, because there are times you're working with different people. You're working with people from different background, different ethnic group, different race and all. So most times you meet different people. So you have to understand that People learn at different pace, people adjust at different pace, so you have to be patient enough to see your client adjust, get better, and move on with you. Okay, so that's what patient is all about. And you have to be patient enough to see that the case that you're working on is successful, because there are cases that will take 2 weeks, there are cases that will take, maybe, I'm just giving instance now, there are cases that will take just few days, there are cases that will take weeks, there are cases that will take months, and there are cases that can even take a year or more than a year. So you have to be patient and work with your client to see that the case is fully resolved. And number 13 is organizational skills. You have to have organizational skills, you have to have leadership skills, you have to have skills that can make you work with work in an organization, work with different people, work with groups and all. So you have to have skills like leadership skills. Like, so I don't want this video to be long, it's already getting too long, so I'm going to be fast, although I'm almost done. So the next skill is strategic planning skills. Strategic planning skill. You have to be strategic when it comes to your planning. You just know when to take a step, when to take a particular step, or when to stop, when to wait, so you have to be strategic about your planning. You have to know when to involve other professionals. You have to know when to link the client to other resources or to other professionals. You just have to know, you just have to be strategic when working with clients, organization, or community, or groups, as the case may be. Okay, so the last one is self-regulation and assessment skill. You have to, once in a while, you sit down, you assess yourself as a social worker, as a professional. You assess yourself, you check yourself and see if there are things that you need to improve about yourself, if there are ways that you do not do well, if there are things that you are lacking, or if you are successful, or if you're making progress. So in summary, self-assessment and regulation has to do with checking yourself to know if you have been progressing or not, to know if you have been doing well or not, to know if there are things that you need to change about yourself and all, right? So this is just some of the skills that you must have to be a successful social worker. These are some of the skills that makes one, or makes a social worker a successful social worker, right? So thank you very much for watching this video from the beginning to the end. Please do well to give this video a like, so that YouTube will be able to share it more to a wider audience. And this is your own way of saying, wow, I like what you do. So please do well to hit the like button, share this video, subscribe. Most importantly, please subscribe to my channel and tell your friends about this channel. So till we see in my next video, I love you. Take care of yourself, because you are very, very important. Thank you, and see you